Garland, we just discussed the events and the actual shooting of the president in his limousine. What happened immediately after that?
Well, Michael, the president was rushed to Parkland Memorial Hospital, as I think you know, and they, of course, wanted to conduct an autopsy. However, the Secret Service refused that. And we did see a videotape of one of the doctors explaining that the fatal bullet that killed President Kennedy struck him in the right front temple.
Well, and even more than that, they made note, and these were just not emergency room physicians. They immediately pulled senior staff doctors in from all over the hospital, including neurosurgeon and other senior folks, doctors, to not only observe the president, but they were still trying to save the president as he was miraculously still breathing. And the doctors defined that one bullet hole went in an entrance wound into his throat. Now that bullet wound was covered up as they completed a tracheotomy to try to help the president breathe, and they also indicated that a bullet entered his front skull and blew out the back of his skull and brain matter so that they could see into the president's skull, the cavity, and they were able to determine that there was still some brain matter in his skull, but not enough to sustain him, and that was the kill shot. So as they did not get into logging all the wounds, they did not even notice the wound in the back of the president, the bullet hole in the back, until after he got to Bethesda, as they were more focused on saving his life. But after it was determined that he was dead, they wanted to conduct an autopsy and keep the body there, because this was not a federal crime at that time. It was still a state crime, and they had the responsibility of doing the autopsy. And the Secret Service was very, very forceful in insisting that he be removed, the body be removed, and sent back to Washington, D.C. Do you have any other insight on that?
Yeah, Michael, and that's absolutely correct. In fact, Dr. Crenshaw, in his book, explains that confrontation, which almost got to the point of the Secret Service pulling a gun on the doctors at Parkland Memorial Hospital to prevent an autopsy from being conducted there. It was very heated, and eventually the Secret Service removed the body from Parkland Hospital, and as you said, Michael, sent it back to Bethesda, where the autopsy could be controlled by military people in the federal government.
And when you say Bethesda, you mean Bethesda Naval Hospital?
That's correct. And as you mentioned, Bethesda Naval Hospital was the location for the official autopsy of the president.
And that autopsy was conducted in a rather strange circumstances. The autopsy room was filled with people, Secret Service agents, FBI agents, sent there by Hoover, who were supposed to take exact notes on everything that they saw. And also an admiral was there and other top military officials as well. And from that autopsy, the president's brain ended up missing. And the autopsy was not conducted in such a way that the doctor conducting the autopsy was happy about it. Matter of fact, didn't he report that his autopsy was being directed by others?
The autopsy, that's right, Michael. First of all, the autopsy, of course, concluded the standard government line that the president was killed by bullets in the back of the head, which we have already shown in previous segments, is virtually impossible. So you had three examiners there, professional military examiners, medical examiners, who made that conclusion. And many people have been baffled as to how you could possibly have made that type of conclusion in light of the evidence that we now have. Well, later on, in the late 70s, when Jim Garrison was prosecuted.
Jim Garrison, who is?
He was a district attorney in New Orleans, was prosecuting some individuals for conspiracy to kill the president, based in part out of New Orleans. He was able to not only get a copy of the Zapruder film, but he also was able to interrogate one of the doctors, the examiners, under oath. And this particular...
Are you talking about a doctor examiner at Parkland or Bethesda Naval Hospital?
Oh, I'm sorry, the examiner at Bethesda Naval Hospital, because Parkland never had a chance to conduct the autopsy. And the examiner at Bethesda, which was Dr. Fink, had to admit under oath that examination, that autopsy, was being controlled by a general and an admiral at Bethesda Naval Hospital, and he refused or claimed that he was unable to identify just who those two individuals were.
Garland, just a little bit of background on me and for the audience. I'm a former special agent with the Office of Special Investigations in the Air Force, and I have sat on a couple of military autopsies. And in that autopsy room, the pathologist, the doctor, has absolute control, and when we witnessed autopsies, we didn't say anything. We did not try to control the doctor. That would have been against the rules. That would have been against standard protocol. So some admiral, other than the pathologist, the examining pathologist, controlling that is a total irregularity under military rules. And that's something that everyone should know.
And of course, Michael, that leaves us, the question is, why would an admiral and a general want to be controlling the autopsy of the President of the United States and not allow the examiners to get to the actual truth and the facts of the death?
And there's another anomaly there. Two FBI agents, senior FBI agents, sent by J. Edgar Hoover to observe the autopsy and to take notes, which is quite right. That's standard protocol. Their notes were confiscated by the Secret Service, and those notes never turned up again. So there's another anomaly. So many anomalies cause further questions to be asked.
So why would that autopsy need to be controlled by the federal government? That would be a question I think we can answer in one of the next segments.
And we look forward to hearing that discussion. Thank you, Carl.